From the studios of Anderson Hall, this is the Corn Boys Podcast. Now here are your hosts, Nathan, Max, and Caleb.
Well, dude, we already knew that from the last podcast.
Happy late Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yeah. Man, this segue is going to be awful regardless of how we do it. Welcome back to episode number 2 of the Corn Boys Podcast. Woo! Hey, we got some applause. Yeah, that was awful. So if you haven't noticed, we have officially dropped episode number 1. That would have been last Saturday. Seeing some pretty awesome numbers. So thank you. If you're listening to this episode, you also listen to episode 1. That means a lot. And if you still haven't, it's still and always will be till the end of the internet available on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. That's a lot of platforms.
That's right.
That is quite a few.
And there's an audio-only version on YouTube.
Audio only for now, correct?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you've seen our social media post on the Corn Boys Podcast Instagram page, that little logo, I made it a little wider, and I just kind of put it on the video on like the picture track, and it's just audio underneath. So for now, if you have YouTube Premium, I don't know, YouTube Music maybe, because technically that's an audio platform.
Is it?
I don't even know what that is. I know what it is, but you have to pay for that, don't you?
Does anyone use YouTube Music? Because I've never honestly heard of it until now.
No, because that's the place where they put all the Vivo music videos.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But boys, we got an episode today.
Woo!
Let's stop worrying about last week in YouTube Music that no one hardly uses. The Super Bowl happened last weekend.
Did.
Congrats to the Los Angeles Rams. And we'll talk more about that later. Actually, I think that's our first segment we're going to talk about. And then the Nebraska men's basketball team happened to beat Minnesota.
Oh, my Lord.
Woo. And then lose in spectacular fashion to Iowa. Like it seems we always do.
This is the thing. I think Max did call it. Last week on the podcast, he said we just needed one. Later, the very next day, the Cornhuskers got their first win.
Hey.
March 1st. Count us. We got to win. We're not winless anymore.
Who do we play next?
Oh, we got Maryland on Friday night.
Call it right now.
I'm going to call. I think we're going to. We did play Maryland earlier in the year. I think we lost by a few, didn't we?
I don't think we have played
have we not
Maryland.
Played them?
No, I don't think so. Let me look real quick.
Fact check.
Just say it.
But I think we're going to upset Maryland at home. 8 p.m. Friday night.
There we go. Yeah. I know Caleb and Max have other thoughts on that here too, so we're going to get to that. So without further ado, let's roll the intro.
Roll it.
So I don't know about you guys, but I kind of was interested in the Super Bowl. To be honest, as someone who hadn't watched a lot of the NFL games this year, I was there for the commercials. And let me just say this. Terrible.
I will say during the first quarter, there were a few bangers. The Crypto.com one that did the DVD thing where it bounces around the screen and tries to hit the corners.
It was the QR code one.
Yes, that one was good. And then the Doritos mixed with, I want to say, Cheetos. They had a really good one too.
Was that the one with the animals that was going wild?
Yes, it was awesome. But those were the only two I found interesting.
What about the one Michelob Ultra?
Yeah, that was
drink responsibly
with the bowling alley.
Yeah, because it had a bunch of athletes. I saw Peyton Manning. I was thinking back to the one pre-Super Bowl with Terry Bradshaw, Peyton and Eli. Yeah. And they had the bus.
The Manning cast. Yeah.
I thought that one was coming. I thought they were going to do something during the Super Bowl.
Oh, that would have been
with
cool.
The bus.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Nothing. And it all goes back to the Winter Olympics were happening.
Mm-hmm.
So the broadcast had to be cut short.
Yeah.
The ending was terrible. Normally after a Super Bowl, they got Like they spent more time talking to the players with like their 2 female sideline reporters and asking them the same question 3 or 4 different times. As a journalism student, I'm sitting there like, bruh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Michelle Tafoya, you're asking like, how does it feel 3 different ways, and they've already given you an answer. Aaron Donald's like, all I want to do is go find my kids.
Exactly.
And he's stuck there saying, oh, it feels good, it feels good, it feels great. Like, you didn't get anything out of him.
Yeah.
You asked him one question.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there wasn't even a big grand announcement of who the MVP was.
No, they basically, it wasn't
the only announcement that Cooper Kupp got about MVP was they handed the trophy. They said, now we're going to talk to NFL or Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp. And that was the only mention of MVP that night.
Yeah.
There wasn't a graphic. There weren't highlights. There was nothing like a big announcement. Like, they didn't even they pushed vote for MVP one time.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that, and it was like the end of the 3rd quarter, and things were still changing.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp hadn't even gone on the long drive. So do the people's opinion even matter about the Super Bowl? Like, I remember in Super Bowl 50, because that's the one I really, really watched because of Von Miller.
The Broncos won, so.
And I voted for Von Miller 20 times because you could just reload and vote and vote and vote. And I was like, Von's going to get it, and he got it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no hype around anything like that.
Yeah.
It just felt like we weren't quite ready for it.
Yeah.
The thing is this is a partially hot take, but Odell Beckham Jr. was tearing the Bengals apart. Then, very unfortunately for him, he tore the same ACL that he had surgery on before, but 2 catches for 52 yards and the first touchdown of the game. If he stays in the game, I don't know. I think he might have stolen the MVP. I mean, yes, Cooper Kupp was a very big part in that last drive and stuff, but he knew that he was the man on the team, and Matt Stafford, he pretty much just told Matt Stafford, give me the ball, and I'm going to win it for us.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I did see, I think, a thing that the turf, a lot of the players, I think I saw Deebo Samuel from the 49ers at least tweet. He said OBJ's injury would not have happened on grass. They said that the NFL should ban turf fields from coming back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big take.
It is a big take, which is, I personally, I can see him doing it just because turf does actually cause a lot more injuries than grass. If you look at the science behind it, it does. But
it's just a whole lot more to keep up a grass field.
A lot more expensive. A lot more expensive.
Okay, but you're also dealing with an NFL team that has millions, if not billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars.
The owner, the amount of money the owner has could pay for the entire maintenance of the field.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Well, do you know what I think it's the Cardinals do, or maybe the Raiders? What they do is they grow the grass outside the stadium, and the night or two before, they open up a little tunnel in the arena, slide the grass right in.
I know the Raiders have it because at Allegiant Stadium they made a big deal about that.
Yeah, they did.
I think the Cardinals do too.
I think the Cardinals have.
I think the Cardinals were the first.
Yeah.
Because Allegiant Stadium just got played at last year.
Last year was the first year, yeah.
Because it was when I don't think any fans could come in.
That's right. And it was a completely empty, just soundless stadium.
And it was brand new. And
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful stadium, but no one's there to see it. It sucks.
So then when they opened with it this year with fans, it was like,
oh, it was crazy.
This place is awesome.
And it was sold out for every game, I think, just because it was the first year of the arena.
Also, if you ever want to learn more about because I'm a broadcast guy, and so my big deal is looking at the behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
NFL is done with 4 or 5 different teams, 24 hours till kickoff.
Yep.
You ever seen those videos?
Those videos are awesome.
They're amazing. It shows you a lot of the behind the scenes and all the different jobs that it takes on game day that people don't even realize.
I think some of the best ones are when they do Green Bay during a snow game, and they put the slides down the stairs, and they have to shovel snow onto the slides, and it just slides down onto the field. It's crazy.
Or how they have to learn how to keep beer warm. It gets so cold there, and that underneath their grass field are heaters.
Yeah.
Keeping it warm, like a heated bathroom floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
something.
And it's right smack dab in the middle of town, residential area. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Green Bay one also goes into more depth with the actual NFL staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's done by the NFL Network.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones are kind of done by each team.
Teams, yeah.
But the Chiefs one's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of talk about even the thinking behind the fireworks show.
Oh yeah.
I never knew that that could change depending on if it's night
Mm-hmm.
or day.
Yeah.
I knew when probably, but like
They ran out against the Bills, I think I saw, or it might have been, it was the Steelers when it was like 42-14. I think they put an announcement on the screen saying, we ran out of fireworks. And I saw it on like someone's Snapchat story, but I was like, I didn't know an NFL team could run out of fireworks for a game.
yeah, because I think they have about 6 scores preloaded or something. Because
Yeah.
any more than that, it gets super expensive and you don't even use them all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, long tangent away from Super Bowl. You were talking about what? Odell?
We were talking about Odell.
OBJ.
Could have stole the MVP from Cooper Kupp. I think so too.
He was on a roll. He was having one of the best games of his life.
Well, the thing is like we said before, like the Super Bowl even happened, he was pretty much out for vengeance and pretty much was just like, Cleveland was not me. Like that was a whole different player. He was great with the Giants before he went to the Browns. I mean, yes, he maybe had a few issues with the Giants organization, but it wasn't just because he wasn't seeing eye to eye. And then Odell got told that he was the problem and everything, but stats don't lie most of the time, and he proved the haters wrong. And I mean, I hope for a speedy recovery. He's a great player. He's a great athlete, and just speedy recovery, Odell.
Well, he was in the locker room. I saw videos on like Instagram stories. He was dancing in the locker room with his whole knee wrapped up, and he was celebrating. They had the parade today, this morning in LA, and he was on top of a bus shaking a champagne bottle everywhere, and it looked like he was having fun. So hopefully he's doing well, but yeah, you can't really. All you can do is hope that he gets better quick.
well, and he's been in the league how long and hasn't gotten a
8 years now, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it's been about 8 years.
and
I think
not-
2014 was
and
the big catch.
and he's gotten so close each of those years to
Yeah.
the Browns made an incredible run last year, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, they made it to the AFC divisional round. No, yeah, it was a divisional, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, because the Chiefs beat him, and then the Chiefs beat the Bills, and then Super Bowl. Yeah, we don't talk about that though. Screw you, Tom Brady. Happy retirement.
he's probably just gonna unretire. I'm sensing
Oh
it
no,
already.
I think that too. But
Did you guys see? Okay, so the big deal about the Super Bowl is it's. I think the other issue is instead of the Super Bowl just being the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
they've made it a week.
yeah,
So my guess is by the time all the network coverage, you get to that Super Bowl, everyone's like, oh, we want the game to be over.
yeah,
But like, did you see the opening It's not necessarily a monologue of the NFL Honor Show.
mm-hmm.
It was Keegan Michael Key, and he sang a song
I did not see
Yeah.
this.
called "We're Back." I've listened to that thing on repeat for the last couple days since they put it out on YouTube. It's pretty cool. You
Is
should
it?
go. You should go watch it. It's
I will.
they get Roger Goodell to sing.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, that sounds like a horrible
He
thing.
sings like a line.
Okay.
Anyway,
Goodell.
it had a line in there where they're talking about how Tom Brady retired,
Oh,
and then he
gosh.
didn't retire, and then he did retire, and then he didn't, and then he's getting reports that he did retire, and
Yeah.
he'll probably unretire.
Mhm.
And it's like this could be going on for years.
Yeah.
There was also a thing about how they don't play games on Wednesdays,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually they're probably going to play games on Wednesdays.
I could see the NFL expanding to play almost a game a week during the season, except for maybe on Friday nights. I think they kind of try and reserve Fridays for high school.
Right, and Saturdays for college.
Yeah, but you see the thing now what they're doing around like Christmas time. They had, I think, like 3 Saturdays in a row, they had a game on Saturday.
My biggest thing is probably the only reason they don't do it is because there's also another YouTube video from the NFL Network about how they create the schedule.
Mm.
One of the big factors is how can the network cover this? Like, how can the three main networks they have, how can
Yeah.
they cover it?
It's true.
But what if we get to a point one day, colleges are already doing this, you get like the Big Ten Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see any game.
The
It
NFL
doesn't have to be like on ESPN to watch.
Yeah.
You get something on NFL, and it really doesn't matter what day the games are.
They're going to make a lot of money doing it too.
If they can get a subscription service.
Oh, they're going to make a lot of money.
Because didn't they have NFL Sunday Ticket
Yep.
on DirecTV?
Now
That
there's-
had to make them
There's
quite a bit.
Red Zone right now, which you can watch all the games at once. It just rotates in between,
Yeah.
which I have that. It's incredible. I love it.
This is the thing with that, though, is them wanting to play a game every day. You have to put the players' health
Yeah.
and safety before everything, because say you play on a Sunday night And then if you get that Sunday, like mid-afternoon or night game, and then you got to turn around and play on Thursday,
Ooh.
they take hits and it's a lot on their body. And like, if say you're the Los Angeles Rams and you had a game in Los Angeles and then you had to fly all the way across the country to play a team in like New England, or you had to play
The Giants or something.
Or yeah, literally anyone.
Well, and what about the Los Angeles game that they have to play over across the sea?
In Europe, yeah, exactly.
Like,
In London. And they just
because
scheduled one for Germany. Did you see that? They're playing one in Germany.
that's going to be kind of cool.
It would be very cool.
The NFL is going to be worldwide here pretty soon.
That's what their goal is with all of this. We talked about this last semester in our sports media class, how the NFL is just expanding and how like other countries, they want to start buying into the NFL just because of how big of a market it's getting, which is very cool.
Once you get established in Europe, you're pretty much set.
Yeah.
It'll go everywhere else.
You were talking about the whole music thing with Keegan-Michael Key. I want to touch on, before we move on to the actual like stats of the Super Bowl with Caleb, halftime show. I got to get your thoughts. I personally really enjoyed it. I don't know. Some people are saying it's the best thing ever. Some people are saying it's mid. Some people say it sucks. I enjoyed it a lot. What do you guys think?
Growing up the way I did, with the way my parents were, I only started listening. I think I haven't heard a single Dr. Dre song.
Oh, yeah.
The only rappers I've heard are Eminem and more of his new stuff.
Yeah.
And then Kanye West. And Kanye West wasn't even in the halftime show.
Yeah.
So I really haven't heard, like, I knew Snoop Dogg did music.
But you never heard his stuff.
But I also knew that he went to prison. So, like, I didn't really, like...
It's true.
I didn't really listen to his music because, like, I don't know, it was just that weird association thing in your head.
Yeah.
And, like, I had other music to listen to. I'm from Nebraska. I was listening to, like, country music.
Yeah.
I had Jason Aldean and Blake Shelton to take care of my music listening needs, and Luke Bryan.
Boy. Oh, boy.
Like, you get them in the Super Bowl halftime show, I'm listening. Or, like...
People want that next year, too. They want a country halftime show, and I'm like, oh, boy.
So, I don't know. It was kind of cool. It was all right. I liked some of the remixes. I liked Eminem's part, but it was just so short.
That's what I was saying. It could have been a lot longer. He barely did anything. I mean, he did one song, but which most of them did.
Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
Which I knew the words to. And so I'm sitting next to my mom on the couch, and I'm starting to mouth the words. She's like, "How do you know this song?" I'm like, "I got Spotify. I can listen to any song I want."
It's a great song. Caleb, what do you think about it?
And I mean, I thought it was pretty good. Like, obviously, like we all said, as being in like the younger generation, we didn't exactly grow up with that. Like, but I mean, like, obviously with some people raised differently, like I personally knew the songs probably more than other people's, but I thought it was really good. I was really surprised when I did see 50 Cent like falling from
Upside
the sky.
down.
He was literally like Spider-Man. I was like, oh my God, that's 50 Cent.
That was like crazy.
I was like, that's crazy. But I didn't really like it. Obviously, like, we're more familiar with like Kendrick Lamar and we were familiar with Eminem. But like, obviously, when we were younger, we always are like, Mom, can you play Eminem? I got to go to a soccer game or a football game. Let me get pumped up. Come on now.
I can see little Caleb sitting in the backseat of the car saying, Mom, can you play Eminem? Like, thinking it's like the candy, like...
When they start playing at the beginning of the halftime show, when you started hear Dr. Dre's music started going, the piano keys, I was like, oh boy, this is about to go down. It's about to be good.
Yeah, I feel like, and this is more on like a picky side, the quality of like what came across the broadcast, I think being there would have been a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Like, but like you should be able to have the ability to direct capture it and like mix it for the broadcast, not just kind of like capture like raw. To me, it was just I tried a bunch of different things with my sound bar to try to like listen, like get it better quality and like actually be kind of cool. And I was like, it's just, and they didn't really let anyone down on the field around it. Like maybe that's a COVID thing too.
Yeah.
They also had those weird dancers. They had like a huge white sheet and it was just all kind of.
I think the set design wasn't my favorite thing. I feel like they could have done something better. Like you remember last year with The Weeknd, what he did with the big building and then the room of the mirrors.
There was not a place at that stadium he didn't go.
Exactly. I thought that was really cool. I feel like they could have done something with these huge hip hop stars, I feel like they could have done something more, but
here's the thing I do know. And I read an article this morning. Obviously, the people that perform at the Super Bowl halftime show don't get paid.
Yep.
because it's that big of a promotional thing. But I don't know how much the NFL puts into set.
No.
I think it comes all from, because I read that like Dr. Dre dropped like $7 million.
They pay for it. They pay for the set themselves.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much The Weeknd paid last year for his set, because that would have been pricey.
Yeah. But also, he was growing in popularity already.
That's true. Yeah.
And he still is.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
I think hip hop's going to start coming back now, though. I think it's the start. If you think about it, these younger kids that listen to it, they're probably like, okay, this is kind of good.
How many parents do you think, though, were sitting watching the Super Bowl and heard that Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg were going to be on it and then immediately said, our kids are not watching it?
Maybe a few, but there also wasn't a lot of cussing in it.
No, they made him cut it out, and I think they also made him cut out a lot of part about like the killing cops and the guns part. Like they edited it. The only thing they didn't stop was Eminem's kneel.
That is true. That's controversial. Yeah,
it's controversial with a lot of people.
Let's not get into it.
The thing.
I mean, he wasn't told no.
That's true.
From what the original storyline was that he was told no.
Mm-hmm.
But then the NFL released a statement that was like, we never told him he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because then that's like basically them saying that like all those athletes should never have been able to kneel, and they were hands off with that too.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is with to piggyback on the Super Bowl halftime is all the parents that were watching it. That was the stuff that they listened to when they were like our age and stuff. So they were loving it. Like I got texts from like people and they're like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing ever," and I'm like, "It was all right," but like
you have a bunch of adults like 30 to 40 that have your phone number that are texting you during the Super Bowl halftime show.
No, it's just like obviously it's just family members and stuff, and like my sister, she's like 22 years old, so she's more familiar with it than I am. But like I thought it was still good. Yeah, I don't think it was bad.
Yeah,
we're definitely on the tail end of that.
Golden era.
That era of when those rappers were around.
Yeah.
Like, I was probably 7th grade when some of those songs, 6th grade when those songs, and even, like, they have songs before that.
Yeah.
So, like, we totally went off on a different tangent there, which I feel like is going to happen a lot with this podcast just because there's so much to talk about in so little time, but there's definitely a lot of detail that we want to try to get in. For the viewers' sake, or listeners' sake, we'll try to keep it a little shorter just because it is a bear to listen to 2 hours worth. So, 1 hour was all right. Shorter, maybe, hopefully, we'll get there one day.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so now we got to get back on track with the Super Bowl game. The actual game that happened. Like, there's that entire week, and then something happens, and it's like 2 hours of your time.
Exactly.
What happened? I was watching it, but it felt like it went by like quick. I can't even snap, so that was terrible.
I'll agree with that. It went very fast, but go ahead, Caleb.
As we all came on the podcast last week, we all thought that the Rams would win. I mean, at the end of the day, they did win, but it was drastically different than I thought. Like, I just thought that the Rams were going to come in. They were the better team. They had the better game plan, and they were just going to take it to Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And Joe Burrow proved this weekend that he's a winner. That's the thing. Like I said, obviously, the OBJ injury was, I think, very pivotal in the game because the Rams were up 7-3.
Yeah, 7-3.
Yeah, 7-3, and he gets injured. And then, like, the Rams' offense disappeared. They just didn't know what they were doing. And some things happened, obviously, that were very unfortunate. The Matt Stafford interception, that was that went off Ben Skoranek, or however you say his hands. I mean, that's just really unfortunate, like we said. But at the end of the day, they did get the win, so that was really good to see. You really saw a really humbled Matt Stafford after the game. You could tell that he really wanted it, and you could tell just the emotional damage that Detroit really did to him. And you saw throughout the game, the one time his ankle, they showed the replay. I don't know how it didn't snap. The whole defender's weight was literally on his ankle. I was like,
yeah,
how are you still walking, dude?
Mm-hmm.
If that happened to me, I'm in the ER. I'm out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Dude's a fighter. And for him to have to wait that long,
mm-hmm.
like, Yeah.
And,
I wish we would have gotten some better answers out of him from the sideline
Yeah.
reporters. But again,
Mhm.
we already discussed that. They were...
they all say that Patrick Mahomes is the future of football, is what they're all saying. But Matt Stafford took a play out of Mahomes' playbook with that no-look pass to Cooper Kupp over the middle. Oh my gosh, it was pretty. It was so pretty. That just shows what Detroit's been holding him back for. He's probably the most underrated quarterback in the NFL, and it's just because of Detroit.
My thing is, there are really great quarterbacks that can do a lot with not a lot of talent around them.
It's true.
But there's also those quarterbacks that are good, but the stats don't always show it because of the talent around them.
That's right.
What did LA give Matt Stafford? Talent. A little bit of talent.
I think there's one answer really, and it's the offensive player of the year, Cooper Kupp. You look at it, who was the target? Cooper Kupp.
Like that's the thing. Like every Super Bowl, there's that player that you know in the game from one team. You know where the ball is going to go. And the Patriots versus the Falcons, everyone knew it was going to
Julian Edelman, right?
for the Patriots.
Yeah,
Julian
it
Edelman.
was Edelman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I messed it up the other day. I was thinking about who the guy was, and I almost said it was what's the other guy's name? Danny Amendola. I almost mixed him up.
He was good, but it really
Edelman.
was Edelman and a little bit of Gronk.
Yeah, a little
Because
bit Gronk. but
Gronk is just a beast.
crazy.
But they weren't in the Super Bowl this year, so.
And
But there just are those players
Yeah.
that will step up to the occasion no matter how tough the game gets.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, when you practice defense, like when you're running defense in practice the week before the Super Bowl, you're game planning for that individual person at the very end of the game.
just my last takeaway on the Rams, their defense held them in the game. Like we said, their offense couldn't move the ball for anything. Once OBJ went down, you could see that they were just depleted without having their top tight end and even their second tight end.
Did you say OJ?
OBJ. My bad. My bad.
Sorry, I thought OJ Simpson. I'm like, oh my god.
Just the one letter that really changes the personality of the person you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But I think another point that it changed and it made the Rams like take over in the game was the hit that Aaron Donald gave Joe Burrow right on the sideline. And that sparked the fight. And they made Aaron Donald quite literally mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was on a mission. He was like, all right, I'm just tired of this. And he single-handedly just went out there. And I think they finished the game with maybe 6-7 sacks. They had 0 coming into that moment. He got credited for the sack. Joe Burrow was going out of bounds, but he made sure that Joe Burrow would go down.
Dude, I love the moment. Very last defensive play. Aaron Donald pointing to that ring finger, like, I'm going to put it right here. Like, that's the hype. Like, that moment you know it, and everyone on the field knows it, and it was Aaron Donald.
Yeah. They've been calling Aaron Donald one of the best defensive ends of all time. After that, after the hit on Burrow, I'm not surprised.
Like, and it was a smart play because Burrow was still in.
Mm-hmm. And Donald got double teamed the entire game. I know Caleb was telling me about that earlier. Donald really never had a chance until he got to Burrow that first time. And then all of a sudden just something snapped and he just went off. It was crazy.
It was definitely something. And like you could just tell that the momentum was just going to switch. And to think of that kid as a 3-star athlete going to Pittsburgh University. Look at that grown man now. He's literally like 330 and faster than anybody. I guarantee you put him up in a race with me, and I would say I'm in my prime. He would cook me.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't even be close.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about the Rams, but I think we got to give at least a little bit of credit to the Cincinnati Bengals. Head coach Zach Taylor, graduate of Nebraska, former quarterback. They had probably their best year in the past, 30-some years when they last made the Super Bowl? I want to say it was 80-something.
I mean, they were pretty consistent with Andy Dalton, obviously, but they could never get past like the first round in the playoffs.
I made a claim to my parents the other day, and I'm going to stand by it until I'm proven wrong. I say this is Joe Burrow's last Super Bowl. And the only reason for that is because the Bengals are really good on offense, but their defense doesn't have it yet. Eli Apple got cooked in the Super Bowl. He got destroyed.
And the thing is like we saw, Joe Burrow had no protection. And that was a thing coming into this draft. It was either Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell. And I mean, yes, Jamar Chase is great, and he will continue to be great, and will get better. But until you get that man a line, he got destroyed. The one hit, he went down, grabbed his knee, and I thought, this is terrible. How are you going to have OBJ go down and him, and they both tear their ACLs? But Joe Burrow, he's a fighter, man. That's all I got to say. He's a winner.
That's the only other reason why I don't think he can make another Super Bowl unless they draft an offensive line. Their line sucks. 7 sacks. Then you compare it to what I think they had. Was it 7 again against the Titans?
Yeah, they had. I think. Yeah, they had 9 against the Titans.
It was 9.
And there was 12 coming into the Super Bowl. That's 19 times in 4 games, and he got sacked like 50 times during the regular season.
Yeah.
You keep doing that, your franchise quarterback is out the window.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
But as we could tell, Joe Burrow's a fighter. I mean, you saw when the Rams were up 7-3. And they scored. All of a sudden, something clicked. The first play of the second half, long ball, Joe Burrow, I think it was the T. Higgins, I want to say. Yeah, maybe a little bit of a missed call with the face mask pull, but whatever, refs don't call everything nowadays. Look what happened with the end of the game. Joe Burrow's something else. Does he have the talent of some of these other quarterbacks like Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson? I don't know. He's got to prove him. He's got to make it back to a Super Bowl. If he makes it to another Super Bowl in the next 3 years, I'll believe him. But for now, I don't know if I believe Joe Burrow yet.
Here's what he has. And their kicker.
McPherson. Money Mac. Whew.
Here's what the two of them have. No fear.
That's right.
Confidence that no matter what they walk into, they will be able to come out with the win if everything goes according to their plan.
And it didn't go according to their plan just because defense didn't show up at the end and their offensive line is horrible.
But also, isn't this what you want to have happen in the Super Bowl? You want a close game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the Super Bowl is supposed to be the 2 best teams from each conference. I wish they made it the 2 best teams out of the NFL because I think we'd have some good games. But they got conferences they got to deal with. Mm-hmm. That's the way it is. But you're getting teams that have proven that they can beat other good teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Chiefs weren't there. They were a decent team this year, too.
Should have been there.
Should have been there.
Next year. I'm just saying, if they don't get it next year.
That's what Joe Burrow's saying, too.
If they don't get it next year, I mean, the thing is, there's 3 teams now in the AFC I'm confident can show up and win the AFC. Chiefs, Bills, now the Bengals. The AFC, I think, is now is the better side of football now, just because of the young talent that they have. You can't deny me, Caleb. Yes, the NFC has Aaron Rodgers for now. He's going to the Broncos. I'm calling it. He's going to the Broncos.
Go to AFC. And imagine if Tom Brady was still on the Patriots with the Broncos.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Okay, but Brady's now retared. Who does the NFC have left for quarterbacks? That's good.
This is the thing. They got Kyler Murray.
Wow.
Wow, that was fast.
Look what happened in his one playoff game. What did they lose? 30-3? Or was it 41-10? Something like that. It wasn't close.
Dak Prescott.
No.
Did you just bring up the Cowboys?
No, but they do got what's his name? I can't even think of Matt Stafford.
Okay, yes, they have Matt Stafford. But I just named you 4 top-tier young quarterbacks. Or 4, was it 5? It might have been 5, I don't know. I think there was 4.
There's 4.
But you can't tell me the AFC does not have the future of the best NFL. I'm just saying.
Russell Wilson
is leaving the Seattle Seahawks to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is the thing.
Is he really?
No. But they think he's leaving, though. They don't know where yet, but they think he's leaving.
Okay, also, isn't the NFC getting, these teams are getting a bunch of new head coaches?
Oh, yeah.
The Vikings got a new head coach today.
That'll be another
Isn't
episode
he young?
topic. Yeah, he's really young.
Well, right now, Sean McVay is one of the youngest coaches to win the Super Bowl.
He is the youngest to ever win the
coach.
Super Bowl. That's correct.
Yeah.
But
that's pretty cool. Yeah, Super Bowl. It was all right.
I'm glad it was a close game. I'm glad it wasn't a blowout like last year. I enjoyed the Super Bowl.
One last thing on the Super Bowl, and I'm going to say this because, again, I'm a broadcast type of guy. I like looking at the production stuff. Usually in the Super Bowl is when these media companies, NBC in particular, will bring out their new graphics for the next season. We're going to showcase them in the biggest game in the season, something new, see what the reactions are. What did you guys think of that scoreboard with the clock in the center and all the graphics? What were your thoughts?
I personally didn't hate it, but it was not my favorite at all.
I didn't hate it, but I also just didn't like the fact that NBC was on the game. I love Al Michaels and all. I'm not a big fan of Chris Collinsworth. I really wish this year's game would have been CBS with Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. I would have liked it better, but that's just bias. I'm not hating on NBC or CBS. That's just what I think.
What if they did a Manning cast of the Super Bowl?
Oh, it'd be horrible. Oh, it'd be so bad.
This is the thing is they did have to pay respect to Chris Collinsworth because he is no longer on NBC.
Yeah.
That was his last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they were great. You always think it's Sunday Night Football, the Super Bowl, Sunday.
Yep.
It's supposed to be a night game. So technically, yes, they should have. But, I mean, obviously everyone's going to have their own opinion on who they think that is the best broadcasting crew.
I did like the scoreboard. I personally enjoyed it. I didn't think it was that bad. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was a little condensed. That's the thing. All of our scoreboards have been getting taller
Wider.
and narrower.
You think narrower?
Well, okay, so look at what's the scoreboard you think about when you think of like college football? You think really wide with everything out there.
That's true. Now they're doing a little corner in the box. Yeah.
It's getting really, really tight.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like, well, in college football used to be that little corner box.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went to that wide bar. I like the wide bar.
I like the wide bar.
I don't like how everything is getting like, it's just so compact and like, they did kind of have a cool thing when they'd pop up like a player's number.
That was
picture.
cool. Yeah.
It kind of looked cool because it was that silver, like techie kind of feel. But
is that when they scored? Is that what you're talking about?
Or just anytime they were going to replay and they were pointing out a player, they kind of had a little graphic.
Yeah.
It was all right. I don't know. The circle clock kind of confused me at first. I saw the lines and at first I thought it was cool. They were going to have like the circle kind of go around until the clock was run out.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't do that. But it was just possession.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were no challenges.
There didn't need to be.
There didn't need to be, yeah.
I know.
You look at it, there really
I like a game with a little more like challenge controversy versus missed call controversy.
If they would have threw a flag on a few more plays, I think it would have been fun, but whatever. Whatever.
Anyway, that's the Super Bowl. That took a while.
That did take a while.
All right, we're gonna move on to Nebraska men's basketball. I'm gonna give the boys here a little time to catch their breath.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back in a second for Nebraska men's basketball coverage. All right, I think the boys we've caught our breath, right?
Yeah.
That was a super long Super Bowl tangent.
Very long.
Even longer than the first before we took a break. So,
but it's the last football game, Last
NFL football game of an extended season.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to say on it. All right. Let's talk about Nebraska men's Husker hoops. Nebraska men's basketball. Boys, this is your time to shine. Let her eat. Tell me what you got.
I called it, boys. We got to win, baby. Woo!
Let's go.
You just played the laugh track. Oh. Woo! Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was kind of fitting because people do think of Nebraska as the laughing stock of the Big Ten. So
you're not wrong. That was a good one. That was a good one.
We're getting better at these effects, ladies and gents.
So I was watching the Minnesota game. I just got out of a musical I had a performance. I had to go watch the Lead Center, and I got out and I saw that we were winning. And I was like, okay, it's Nebraska basketball. We're not going to hold this lead. Then I turned it on my TV. It was about 10 minutes left in the first half. And I checked Twitter and I see Bryce McGowan hits 2 crazy alley-oop dunks to score four of the first 7 or 9 points. And I'm like, holy cows, what is going on? Why are they actually playing good? Because we have not seen Nebraska play good basketball in a while. Something happened and they got going. This Husker team, for some reason, it clicked. Verge scored 22 points. How often does that happen anymore? Verge, you're incredible. Wilcher hit 3 threes. He's our 3-point shooter. You got to love it. Bryce had 16. He's the Big Ten freshman of the year. Let's be real. On the worst team, but he's putting up good numbers. Crazy. And you got to shout out his brother, bro. 7 boards, 5 assists, and 6 points. That's a solid game for a guy that doesn't score a lot.
Well, and watching it, I was there, able to be there for the first half. Nebraska just came out really loose, flying high, and looked like they actually wanted to play for one another. Sometimes when you start a game, you can feel the energy. Sometimes you can feel the energy in the arena. Sometimes you can feel it on the court. And Nebraska just came out and they were just like, all right, I'm tired of the media attacking us. Let's play for one another the whole game. And if we all lay it out there, good things are bound to happen. Like Max said, this is the first time Nebraska's played a full game of basketball this whole year in the Big Ten. Obviously, the Big Ten is very competitive. You can't take a night off. I don't care if you're playing Minnesota like we did, or if you're playing Michigan State. It does not matter. You have the same attitude. You come to work every day. You can get a win. I don't care who it is.
These guys, they actually put in work. I listened to an interview with Hoiberg had on afterwards. He said that they had a good week of practice. They came in and we were ready. The one thing I still don't like about this team is Hoiberg on the sideline. He doesn't get into it. He just stands there. He might call a play here and there, but he just... Remember, we were talking about Tim Miles earlier. How energetic was Tim Miles on the sideline? Like, he was jumping up and down. He was having a fun time at the crowd, though. But that's what Nebraska needs. The guys, they're having fun you saw the game against Minnesota. They were having fun. They were scoring buckets. And they were up by 20 at some point? I think like 25. They were playing good basketball, which in my mind doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it was a sight to see because, as being Nebraska fans, we're going to show up most of the time. We're always going to support the guys and stuff, but it is nice to win once in a while.
Oh,
I mean,
so nice.
Everybody feels better after a win. You take the pressure off and you loosen up and you start to have fun. The thing is Nebraska really didn't get complacent like they do in some of the other games. I can recall many other games. We led the whole game against Rutgers a few weeks earlier, and they just let it slip at the end. You think of there was the
Illinois at home. That was one.
And you think of Michigan on the road. They came in as like 26-point underdogs to a Michigan team that was struggling. They led almost the entire game. At the end, you gotta get some wins.
Yeah, it's bound to happen though. They got one. We're hoping they can get more. Friday night, Maryland, 8:00, home in the vault. They hope they can get a win. Is it going to happen? Let's hope.
Another thing with the vault is when Nebraska is winning, that place is electric. I mean, I've never been to any other basketball arenas except CHI Health Center. I don't like Creighton. I'm sorry. If you're in Nebraska, you should like Nebraska, but it's all right.
Yeah, GBR.
But the thing is you look on TV and you see all these other arenas and kids are just screaming. Like you compare it to like Duke or you compare it to Kansas, Auburn, all these top teams. There's literally standing room. You can't even sit down during these games. When Nebraska is getting good and going, even when Nebraska really wasn't that good, when we played Creighton at the start of the year, there was like 16,000 people in that place.
That place was rocking.
It was the loudest. It was very loud in there, and it was fun to be around. But for it to be fun and to have people wanting to continue to come back, you had to find some wins.
And speaking of finding some wins, let's talk about what just happened this past Sunday in our beloved rival Iowa
City. All right, so we played the Iowa Hawkeyes. As Max alluded to, they are the biggest rivals in the Big Ten.
Every sport.
For multiple reasons, but it's just one of the ones that you always mark on the calendar and you're like, is Iowa coming to town or are we going there? And it's a game that everyone tries to watch, but it was the complete opposite.
We were tied. Well, I was going to another performance I had to watch at the Leeds Center for Performing Arts, and it was 15-15. I'm like, okay, it's not bad. Like, we're tied. I'm like, we just come off a win. Maybe we can hold it, Then what happened, Caleb?
The thing is like Max alluded to, we were tied. At one point, we were winning 15-11 to end the first half. Iowa went on a 42-10 run. Nebraska just couldn't do anything. One player alone, Keegan Murray from Iowa, 24 first half points. Nebraska scored 25 as a team.
To be fair, Keegan Murray is also leading the NCAA in scoring.
The thing is if you want to win those games, yes, I understand that you might have off days, but if you are giving up those baskets, you have to get them in return. You can't just be letting him score 10 and you score 5.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be doing that. Like, it's not going to get you very many wins. The thing is I was really disappointed with the turnovers. Nebraska at the start, I know Iowa's a team that really wants to speed you up and make you play fast. And when they got that, they know that you're in the palm of their hands and you're playing the way they are. And you just look, and Verge and McGowan's and Webster, everybody was just so sloppy with the basketball. It was leading to fast break layups. And I don't know about you guys, but when you're getting layups, that's a pretty high percentage of a chance that the ball is going to go in the hoop, or at least for a putback. And when you're giving that easy of shots, the score is going to end up like it is. And it was just really sad to see.
It doesn't make sense to me either because they're coming off a win. They haven't won a game since, I want to say, December when they beat Kennesaw State. How does a team that come off a win against, yes, let's be real, Minnesota's not great, but they're not even they're the second bottom of or like they're third worst in the Big Ten. They're not at the bottom like us. That should be a team that like, okay, we got a Big Ten win. Now let's go and try and shock everyone else again and beat Iowa. How do you come out so sloppy against a tournament team in Iowa? I just don't get it.
And just one last note on that. Bryce McGowan's, I know he has so much pressure. He has pretty much the whole state of Nebraska on his back, and he's just trying to lead us to some wins. But he didn't have any points until 14:35 into the second half.
Wow.
It took him 25 minutes to score. And when you're playing a team like that, you just can't have that happen. I know that they're going to key in, and the more you play, the more scout that they're going to have on you. But you want to get your best player involved? Come on, Fred. You got to draw up some plays.
If he's the leading scorer of our basketball team, how do you not get him a bucket in the first half? Even like to the foul line to shoot a free throw. Like, come on. You got to drop something to get your best player to score.
You know who he'd relate really well to? Probably Adrian Martinez. Having like
Yeah.
when you said having the whole state of Nebraska and like you're expected, like you've been in the program, like you're expected to make some plays. Like it's especially here in Nebraska. You mentioned it. Regardless of how we're doing, there's still going to be a majority of people who watch, who comment. Like even though people are saying bad things, they're still watching.
Yeah.
They're still They still want you to win. They just choose to express themselves in a way that might be different than other people expect. But that's Husker Nation for you. Like, that's a lot of pressure.
Well, and when you have such a tradition that Nebraska does, like obviously it's been down for a little while. We were really dominant back in the day. Hopefully we'll return to that at some point. But Adrian Martinez, yes, he might have been the reason that we unfortunately lost some games. But without him, I don't even know if we're in those games, to be realistic.
I don't think we would have won any games if we didn't have Martinez.
The thing is you have to take the good with the bad with him. Like, yes, he did make some mistakes, and that cost us the game. But if you think the kid was a warrior, in the Michigan State game, he broke his jaw. He went out. We had Logan Smothers come in for a few drives. Luckily, the defense was able to keep us in the game. He comes back, and he should have led us to a win. If the special teams does its job and kicks the ball the way that it was supposed to be going, Nebraska gets another win. It's just so hard as an athlete to have that much pressure on your shoulders. And like, I feel bad for him, and I wish him nothing but the best of luck at Kansas State. And I know he's going to do amazing things there, but I guess it was just time for him to move on.
I got one point to make about Adrian Martinez. My dad said this comment, and I actually agree with him. I would not be surprised if he goes to Kansas State, because the Big 12 is kind of down right now, if he wins the Heisman next year at Kansas State. Because Kansas State's a good program. They got a lot of people coming back. He's a talented quarterback that could just drop into a system. He can run the ball still pretty dang well. And the Big 12 is just not that good. They really could go undefeated and make a chance to go to the championship.
And this is another thing. Him and Deuce Vaughn, one of the best running backs in the Big 12, side by side. Adrian Martinez is a quarterback that wants to be out of the pocket. He wants to run. Yes, his arm is okay, but he's a running first quarterback, you open the option game up to him like we did a few times, and he might explode.
Yeah. I also think, though, us kind of forming him, I feel like Nebraska kind of formed him into more of a run first quarterback because that's all he could really do.
But he's good at it.
He's good at it, but
He's real good at it.
Where did most of his injuries come from?
Running.
Yeah. That's what you run into with a quarterback that tries to run.
And that's why you see now in the NFL, there's not a whole lot of running quarterbacks left. Except
even Lamar Jackson he kind of slowed down though a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
Like he really
he got hurt.
I bet. Yeah, he took a couple big hits, and it's like this isn't so fun anymore.
No.
Well, yeah, when you're getting smacked around by dudes that are 6'8", 300 plus.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it either.
I wouldn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how those running backs are a different breed. The way they can keep. Yeah.
Like, how do you pick yourself off the turf and continue to do it? Like, I give them praise every time they do it.
That's why the best of the best make it to the best league in the world.
Speaking of the best, Nebraska women's basketball. 2 ranked wins in the past, 2 weeks, week and a half? They're on a roll.
I should just have you do the segues, Max, because that was really good. That was solid.
Bro, I'm trying.
High five.
Yeah, give me some. Oh, my.
See, I'm just off my game. I had a big thing of chicken fried rice.
Oh, my God.
It was huge, and I'm full, so go, Caleb.
Yeah.
Women's basketball.
This is the thing. The Cornhuskers had 3 games this past week. One against Ohio State on the road in Columbus. Then they traveled to Champaign, Illinois, and played the Fighting Illini.
Who weren't very good, but they're still a Big Ten team.
And then they capped the week off with which is one of the most impressive wins this year that you'll see in all of women's college basketball, beating the 5th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers on our home court on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day for everyone out there. A little late, but it's never too late to go out.
This team is 19-6. With 2 top 10 teams that they've beaten on their home floor. They lost to Indiana earlier in the year at Indiana. I watched that game, and it wasn't too far away from them winning. They showed why, even if they're going to be in not just the Big Ten tournament, they're going to be in the NCAA tournament. If they're like a 6 or 7 seed, dude, I would not want to play Nebraska. That would be horrible.
Well, to note on that, there's this thing that they project the things, and they go by this thing called the net rankings. It's like your strength of schedule and who you play and who you win, and they base it off that. Nebraska's the 18th in that, and they're projected as like a 5th or 6th seed. Like we mentioned last week on the podcast, they're criminally underrated. Like, they haven't even been ranked this season. Like, come on, what more do they have to do?
Imagine being a team. I don't know. I don't know like the college women's basketball rankings. Just say like a random like Pac-12 team, like Arizona State. I don't know if they're good or not. Say they make the tournament and they're like, okay, a 10 or 11 seed, not bad. Imagine they had to play Nebraska in the first round. A team that has 6 losses, 2 top 10 wins under their belt, who just beat Indiana by 17 points. 17 points. The number 15 rank in the country, who they beat earlier in the season. I would never want to run into Nebraska in the tournament.
And this is the thing, is Nebraska can do it inside with Alexis Markowski, and they can do it from the outside with Sam Hybe and Jazz Shelley. And the talent is just everywhere. It's just like, how are we not getting the recognition that we deserve? To piggyback on the Ohio State game, inside with Bella Cravens and Alexis Markowski and everyone that plays the inside, the bigger positions, we outscored them 39-25 in that game. We were up 22-19 after the first quarter. That's pretty good. When you're on the road against Ohio State, nobody expects you to win on the road when you're not ranked.
Let alone against Ohio State.
And that's the thing, is Nebraska's got this attitude is, I don't care who you are or who we play or where we play, we're going to compete the whole 40 minutes of basketball.
Where do we get that into our men's programs? When will that become a mentality in the men's rooms? I'm just saying. Not all sports have that mentality right now. Some of the men's sports do. But let's just say men's basketball right now. Men's football right now.
Let's see if baseball comes out with. Baseball's coming up too.
Later this week.
Well,
they'll have
already played a game by the time this comes out. But we'll be able to incorporate some of that stuff in episodes next week. And that's going to be fun because They're projected pretty well too.
Preseason ranked.
Preseason ranked. Look at that.
A baseball team in Nebraska. That's pretty cool.
So I think that's going to be a fun sport to cover. But yeah, like you said, the men's programs, a few of them lacking that confidence.
Yeah,
You have to have it.
How do we give the confidence of the women's volleyball team or the women's basketball team? How do we just enforce that into the other athletics? I don't know how you can do it. I don't know.
I think it's got to start with the coach.
Yeah.
This is a thing. Just a few more notes on the Ohio State game is, like we said, they don't care how they perform. The game before, Jazz Shelley went 0 for 10, and she was like 0 for 6, 0 for 7 on threes. It doesn't matter. She comes out and she distributes the ball well. She almost averages almost a triple-double every game. She was one of the biggest acquisitions across college basketball. Getting her from Oregon was great. She's a great fit here. The thing is when they're clicking on all cylinders and you get Alexis Markowski inside and Sam Hybe rolling and all of them going on one thing, like we saw on Monday night, who's going to beat them? Realistically. Like the coach said, I think her name's like Amy Williams, Anna Williams.
Coach, yeah, it's Amy Williams.
Yeah. The same. I listened to her speech at the end of the game, and she just reiterated the fact that they come into work every day. She loves this team, and it doesn't matter if they're on a losing streak or how many games they had to play. At one point, Nebraska had to play 4 games in 8 days. Do you think one of them complained? No, not one of them. It's because they wanted to play for each other, they wanted to win, and they knew they could win.
And if you can come in with the ability that the second the game's over, you scratch that from your mind, regardless, win or loss, and you look at each practice leading up to your next game as a fresh start.
Okay, how can I get better going into the next?
Exactly. It felt like, and going back to Husker football for just a little bit, it felt like we were just hanging on to those losses just a little too much.
As Coach Frost says multiple times, it's like we're watching the same movie over and over again. It's just the same simple stuff. It costs us in the end.
And I know that they don't, like, I can't imagine there is a player on that team that wants to be stuck in that in that rhythm.
No, yeah. Why would you want to lose every week?
Yeah.
So is it effort?
I don't think it's effort. They look like they're putting in lots of work right now in the offseason. It's just when is the work going to pay off?
Or is it focus?
Is it focus or is it coaching?
We might actually see there's one thing we're going to be able to see. It's going to be a little harder without Martinez here.
Mm-hmm.
But with the change of offensive coaches and coaches in general, hopefully we might see whether that could have been the issue too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you just said, we're going to find out if it was Adrian Martinez was the problem or if unfortunately it's our head coach and Scott Frost. Because like we said, he came in and cleaned house, got a new offense coordinator, wide receiver coach, running back coach, O-line coach. That's every position on the field. Unfortunately, Nebraska doesn't run the fullback anymore, but when we did.
Oh, that'd be nice if we still did.
Our last one was Janovich, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Andy Janovich?
A current NFL player.
He was on the Broncos for a while.
He's on the Browns now.
That's the thing. We'll very soon find out what was the problem.
You look at all these coaches that Frost has added. These are all big names that he's added. He added a Bears offensive line coach. He added Mickey Joseph, former Nebraska great. He trained Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, who are NFL wide receiver greats now. Like, this team does not have an excuse to lose games anymore.
And the other way that we'll be able to see if it was Martinez or the coaches, if Martinez has a lot of success at K-State,
Heisman.
It can't be Martinez.
And
It's got to be the coaches.
That's what we're going to have to wait and find out in the fall.
And that's the thing. Like we were talking about Mickey Joseph and breeding all those. He's getting guys that are committed other places and flipping them like it's no other. And their transfer portal has been a blessing to the Cornhuskers. Unfortunately, usually it goes the other way, and lots of kids want to get out, and I understand about that. But we will find out really fast in the start of the year, and people will show their emotion because they're hanging on by a thread right now to Frost, and it's going to be make or break this year.
Well, I think the other thing that it shows is that no coach, no position on the staff is untouchable.
Yeah.
Like, whether it was for Frost to keep his job, he was willing to get rid of his offensive staff to try something new.
Because Martinez really liked his quarterback coach. I forget his name. The Verdosco?
It was like
Verdusco, I think.
yeah, it was like Verdusco or something.
He came out publicly. He said he loved the coach, but if he doesn't win you games, what do you do? I mean, no hate on him, but you gotta find a way to win.
It's sad. Like, college used to not. I feel like college used to not be so businesslike.
Yes,
but college is turning into the NFL. If you don't produce results,
you're cut.
We can't keep you.
Exactly.
In fact, it's starting to look like that on the high school level with some coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get us wins, you're gone. Well, here's the unfortunate reality. In each game you play, there's got to be a winner and a loser, and you're not going to win everyone.
And this is a thing to piggyback on that. Verdosco, yeah, he might be a great guy, but sometimes it takes not such a great guy and a great coach to get after you and win games. You think of Nick Saban. Some people think he's a great guy. Some people think he's a terrible guy, and he might be too hard on his kids. But he produces championships. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You think Tom Osborne was the most loved guy ever? No, there's not a chance. But it didn't matter because at the end of the day, all the fans want to see is wins.
As a player, it's not the coach's job to be liked by you. It's the coach's job to get the job done. And then when you start winning, then you start to like the coach. Because you see that in the coach's ways, coach actually knows what they're talking about.
Exactly.
In fact, I was watching him mic'd up with Bill Belichick.
Oh, yes.
And there's a lot of times, like, you look at these NFL coaches, man, everyone's like looking at these high school coaches being like, why are they yelling at my kid? Look at the most successful athletes on the world getting their butts chewed every single day they are at practice.
By grown men. Like, other men grown
men are getting yelled at by other grown men.
It's hilarious. Almost.
It's just the way the athletic world works. So why are we not doing that other places?
Exactly.
And this is the thing. With nowadays, everybody is scared to be yelled at, to be challenged, and that is why they run. Like, we need to just grow up and take the criticism with a grain of salt because they know people usually just don't say things to say them. Like, what they are saying is important in trying to make you the best you at the end of the day. But if you're like, oh, he's just being hard on me because he doesn't like me. He wants the best for you, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Coaches aren't there to babysit you and care about how you feel. Again, I'm gonna repeat myself. They're there to get you better. They're there to win. And obviously, if a coach gets hired by a team, there is a reason.
And speaking of coaches that's getting them wins, back to Amy Williams in Nebraska. Monday night, they beat Indiana at home. Indiana, number 5 in the country. You have your center Markowski put up 10 points, 15 rebounds against the number 5 team in the country.
Keep in mind, this is going to be her 7th week as Big Ten Freshman of the Week.
Key note there. She's a freshman. Doing this at a Power 5 conference level on a team that only has 6 losses against the number 5 team in the country.
She's a grown woman, and she doesn't simply care who it is. She is going to win the battle inside, and she's going to put her team in the best position possible. If she stays out of foul trouble, I think she's one of the best centers in women's college basketball.
Because who guards her? Can you find a woman for me that's like 6'6"? I don't know any off the top of my head personally. Caleb? Nathan?
I personally have not. I don't know very many girls that are that tall and that are going to be that strong to compete down there. It's one thing to be tall, but it's one thing to be tall and physical and strong.
She's not super tall, but she's built kind of like the men's basketball center. I'm already forgetting his name.
Derek Walker. He's not very tall, but he'll body up on Kofi Coburn against Illinois. He was bodying Kofi Coburn, but it's just, it's the missing link. You just can't find a way to finish. And sometimes it's not all about the heart. I meant, like, the size of the player. It's about the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you go back, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the fight and the dog. Like, come on.
That's right.
You have to be mentally and physically strong to play in such a tough conference that they'd play in. You think you got Michigan tournament team, you got Ohio State Michigan team, Iowa Big Ten team.
You just love Michigan, don't you?
The thing is I'm just getting so worked up about this. It's just, I want them to do so good, and when teams are doing well, they just need to continue their success.
Yeah. They just can't find any success.
Sorry, I cut in about the Indiana thing. You can go back.
No, that's about it. I mean, they won by 17 points at home. This team, they're on a roll. Like, is there anyone left? I don't even know if they have anyone left in their schedule that they can't beat going into the Big Ten tournament.
That's the thing. I looked at it, and after this very tough 3-game stretch, it's the rest of the games are winnable. You go in and you have Michigan State maybe slip up a little bit. You have Iowa slip up. They could jump from the 7 to the 5, and that puts you in a great position. And if you look at it, we talked about their record. They're 18-6 now.
19-6.
19-6. The thing is all 6 of those losses are in conference play.
Mm-hmm. They were undefeated going into conference play.
That's the thing. It just proves that the Big Ten, you have to bring your A game every game, or you can get beat by anybody.
Night in, night out, anyone can win. That's showcased by every team. Even Nebraska. I mean, heck, the men's team beat Minnesota. They weren't supposed to win that game, but they did. The women only have one team left on their schedule that has a winning record. It's the last game of the season at home against Northwestern, who's 14-9. But they have Penn State on the road, who's 9-15. Minnesota at home, who's 12-14, and at Wisconsin, who's 7-18. Realistically, they should be 23-6 going into the Big Ten tournament.
That's the thing. You snag a few wins, or you even go in and win that thing. You know that if you win your conference tournament, you automatically get in.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska's in at this very moment, but you can still bolster your resume and continue to get it better. And if Nebraska wants to get where they are, they go in, they take care of business, you move on to the next game. They can't ride this high, though. That's the thing.
That's what I'm scared is going to happen. They're really high on themselves right now, but I just don't know if they're going to pull, not to be rude to the men's teams, just pull a Nebraska men's team and choke at the end. It's possible. Do we want it to happen? Obviously not. Is it very possible? Yes. Right now, as I'm currently looking on my phone, it has us in the NCAA tournament, the women's team, as a 7 seed against Missouri. And then if we win that, we'd have to play in Ames, Iowa against Iowa State.
Come on. Put some respect on their name.
It doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't.
I think once we play a few more of these games and wrap out this season, we might get a little bit
that's the thing.
more.
If they stumble just a little bit and lose 1 or maybe 2 of these games, they're going to drop lower in the Big Ten. Then a Big Ten tournament comes. They run into Iowa. Caitlin Clark right now, probably the best women's basketball player in the whole country. She scores like 30 points a game, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. She's unbelievable. And I think she's a freshman, maybe a sophomore. Like right now, I think Iowa's probably up as like a 4 seed, I want to say. I currently cannot find it. However,
if I would think so, you got the 7-10 matchup, then you would have the 2 versus the 15. So they would be a 2 seed.
Iowa?
Yeah.
In the NCAA?
Yeah.
No, Iowa State.
Oh, yeah,
Iowa
no,
State.
Yeah, no, they would still be the 2 matchup.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where Iowa, like the Hawkeyes, are at.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, but like we said, how do you have the 18th ranked team according to the net as a 7 seed?
Like right now,
that's embarrassing.
Iowa Hawkeyes are in the Knoxville Regional, which is Tennessee. And Tennessee women's basketball program is very talented, but Iowa's 6. They'd play a Missouri State team who's the 11th seed. Is Iowa that much better than Nebraska? I'm pretty sure Iowa is also nationally ranked as of right now, which
They were ranked because they did just play the other day against Maryland. I don't know if they did win. I didn't get to check the final score, but they were home and they were 24th.
They lost by 12 to Maryland, and now they are 22, but the rankings for the new week have not come out. They have 2 straight games against the team that Nebraska just beat, Indiana, 1 on the road and 1 at home. So this will really test Iowa to see how strong they are. If they lose 2 in a row, they're the same record as Nebraska. Anything can happen.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, with them getting the 2 wins in Lincoln and in Iowa City, they would hold the tiebreaker.
That's true.
Over
But
Nebraska.
They still have to play Michigan, who is also, right now, number 9 in the country. They can also beat anyone, as they showed. Well, we beat them too. It's the Big Ten. Who can win any game? Anybody.
Wow. That was quite an episode. Man, if you're still here, thanks. I think hopefully we're not torturing you, but there's a lot to talk about, and some of it does get repeated a little bit, but there's quite a few valid points that we bring up, and we're kind of using this as an outlet to let people hear our thoughts about it. There's a lot of people in this world, and the thing that everyone wants to do is be heard. That's common theme around people. So I guess we're kind of using this platform to kind of get our opinions heard, and if you don't like them, go ahead and comment. I don't think our feelings are ever going to get really hurt.
Ouch.
I mean, you can't hurt mine, so.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Like, we're putting our opinions out here for everyone to hear. Doesn't mean you can't give us it back. Like, no, we won't take offense to that. Like, everyone should have a voice and their opinion. And
we throw hate right back at us. It's a world. Everyone can take hate. It doesn't have to be good.
Dog eat dog world.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that. Anyway, we appreciate those of you who stick around until the end of the show. And that is all we have here for episode number 2. And the number keeps getting bigger, which I guess is a good sign for the podcast.
Woo! Let's go. We made it past the first one. I didn't even know if we would.
After the way we started, I was not sure either, Caleb.
Yeah, no, we started this second podcast. It was not great, but
we made it.
Yeah.
We made it.
We're here. Hey, look, Ma, I made it. We can't play that song. That's going to get
copyright. It's a bop.
It's a bop. If we can play it, we might try to play it. But anyway, again, thanks for listening. Bye.
Later.
See ya.
Wow, that was awesome.
I don't have to do a little talk back after the intro or outro or whatever, but
yes, that's what I was doing.
well, you should have said something.
Just always plan on it.